Hello, I'm Larissa. Welcome to Goblins of Discord. I am joined by Sierra today. Sierra's a vooltologist. Do you care to speak about your vooltology?
Ooh, intelligent. Yeah, so it is a very elaborate system that arose from how and when Carl Jung originally isolated the eight cognitive functions in the human psyche. And voltology is just looking at how that shows up visibly in people. So it's just the another way to study people in an external way that's pretty interesting.
Hmm. And you do typings like through your Instagram at this time?
Yeah, I do typings, a full typing with a GIF report and follow up, talk about your particular psychology. And if you're curious or interested, you just want to get a rate, you can just hit me up on Instagram.
Yeah. So the server is now open if anybody wants to join. Limited time, 7-day free trial. And also, if you've already been Goblin typed and you weren't happy with your typing, if you sub, like the paid sub outside of the trial, you can until July 4th get your type re-looked at with a like short little ditty. So if that interests you, please join. It's like a horny fairy cave in there right now. Of just
It's the funnest place to be, I can confirm.
yeah, get in while there's not that many people and you can like squeeze as much attention out of the space as you can get. Okay. We're typing Errol Flynn, old Hollywood heartthrob and venereal
Scoundrel.
whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, he was a swashbuckler. He was a heartbreaker. He was a romantic. He was a man of intrigue and venereal disease.
Yeah, there's like a pretty fucking hilarious article about his lore right here. If people feel compelled to read it, we won't probably like quote much through it, but there was apparently it was probably some SP6 was just so excited to find all these warts on his dick when he died. Anyway, sorry. Errol Flynn. I don't even know what he's in. Are you a big Flynn fan?
I think he played, I haven't seen any of his movies. I was just curious about like the insane lore and all like the lurid details around his life. Like the myth, the legend lives on long after the man who very much lived fast and died young with no regrets.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and so we don't actually have much to go on in terms of like video interviews, just like his presence on camera, an audio interview, and then all these sordid details of his personal life, which were sordid enough that I got excited to type this random guy. I mean, I'm into some of the old Hollywood people, but Errol Flynn was not on my radar until Sierra sent some pretty juicy shit. If you wanna discuss some of the juicy details.
Yeah. And I think that it's also really interesting how people have remembered him and like in like such a fond way. Like he really was like such a little shit, but he was very endearing and people remember him quite fondly.
Even though he had like peeping chambers in his home.
Yeah, I mean, he had like audio visual equipment set up, two-way mirrors, like all the crazy stuff in his mansion of horrors.
Yeah, yeah, and we were sort of talking before this video about like what type would do stuff like that because you automatically think like someone would have like 5 and 6 in their type if they're like doing voyeuristic kind of stuff and maybe 9. So I don't know if you wanted to share your thoughts on the 9 voyeurism because we think he's a 9-wing 1. Yeah, if you have thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think so. If nines feel, especially like a nine wing one, you're withdrawn type, you have certain restraints and inhibitions that are difficult for you to like overcome in that sense, especially if you're a nine wing one followed by seven wing six in your head, because that tension's there. between being reserved and withdrawn, and then having that kind of like almost unhinged novelty-seeking element of Seven Wing Six. And with him, I feel like that was also shown in his drinking. Like he was infamous for getting drunk and then getting into these brawls or all sorts of escapades. But just from this is like a super loose observation we made that people with nine wing one in their typing might be drawn to voyeurism because you're observing the world and kind of getting to participate in a secondhand type of way.
Mm. Yeah, and I've noticed like so many stories like where nines are kind of like the victim or they or like well they did something sort of like unsavory or like untowards and it's like somehow they're the victim in the story. It's like, well, I don't know how it just happened. It's like it wasn't like I don't even know. Like so I think that there is that like yeah, non-participant participation backseat driving that nines can do where they're along for the ride, but not owning like their own like I mean he like okay well you had quotes that he had or wait are there any I'm a very moral man and decently moral so yeah I think you're that's like speaking to that tension that you said about nine wing one and seven wing six and um we think he's social sexual as well.
Yeah, and I get the sense that in his mansion, like he was just letting it happen. He would invite the people over, he would supply them with the booze, and then he would just let it happen and get to enjoy it.
And well he participated too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he was. He was participating.
Oh yeah, and then there's this story, like I don't know if I should link it in the show notes. My show notes. I don't even have show notes. Why do I say this? Yeah, where he like he it was like kind of a prankster way because like I at first was like, oh, he's like spying for like six wing five or five wing six head reasons. And he was kind of because he I think he had like microphones in the girls' bathroom or whatever. But it seems like he was like doing pranks too. Like he purposely like woke people up when they were sleeping, and he had friends in watching people with him. Like so, this wasn't even like a secret. I think there's a quote in here where it's like, like Errol Flynn's like creepy house was like Hollywood's worst kept secret or something because he couldn't help telling people and inviting people to like share it with him.
Yeah, and then I also think like we were making the case against six or five because he made no evidence at all to like cover up his creepiness. He just left the mansion as is when it went on the market.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, if he had six, I mean, he would have been a little bit more savvy about covering his tracks.
Yeah. And I guess if he was actually planning to use it for like blackmail or something, like if he had like eight or like, yeah, six, five, five, six in his type, then he would have like he wouldn't have told all his friends and like I read that like apparently he had all these falling outs with people. Some people got really upset. Some people actually didn't give a shit. One of his friends was like, "Good, he can learn something from watching me." Like, so I think he probably was like his other friends had similar personality type stuff going on with seven or something that were like, "Oh well, whatever."
Yeah, yeah, just let it fly. Just let it buck. Oh, and that was the name of his autobiography, My Wicked, Wicked Ways, which
Oh
he
yeah.
originally wanted to title in like Flynn, which I guess became like a euphemism because, his storied and numerous romantic intrigues.
I mean, it definitely has like a bit of a date rape vibe to it, the title.
Yeah, this was far, far before the Me Too movement.
Yeah. And also I think it speaks to like sexual second because he's just like it's not like this like instinctual hellhole pit like of fixation for him or like blind spot stuff. He's just like I'm a little slut. Woohoo!
Yeah, I think he was just having fun with it. Yeah.
And three wing two in the heart space too. Like he's just like he's the king of cup or the knight of cups, like charming narcissist, like romance gets away with murder with the nine wing one, three wing two, like just the confessions of a rake, un unsparing of himself or anyone else. Oh, where's that? So yeah, you found. Oh, here it is. This link that you found with Robert Greene talking about Errol Flynn in terms of his seduction style.
That spell for that feeling, for that emotion. One of the greatest male seducers that ever lived was Errol Flynn, the actor. The power that Errol Flynn had, I had to study and figure out what was the secret to success. It wasn't really anything he did. He was completely undefensive. There wasn't a defensive bone in his body. He was open, non-judgmental, and women would say that when you would get into a room with him, you were afraid of this guy. 10 minutes with him in the room and you lost all of your inhibitions. They said it was like drinking 4 martinis just to be there. We're looking for.
Yeah. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, so that's the little clip that convinced me of nine for him because with nines there is like this soft lack of boundaries and defenses that can be very disarming to people, and also that nine wing one thing of creating a safe space for other people to, in this case, emotionally undress. And I also think that's maybe a rare and charming quality about maybe 911 specifically because it's rare where you meet someone, and I think this speaks to the SOSX too, that they are generally like super interested and intrigued by you, and they're not going to judge you. Like you can tell them whatever, you can like let your true self out. And I think that was very enticing for all, the women that he encountered, especially in Hollywood, like where there's so many predators trying to get something from you. And so I think that was really the secret of his charm, that the softness of nine and then the intense focused interest of SOSX.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. And I think like seven fix too, because like 963 is more like relating or holding space more, I think. And 973 is like they're still wanting to entertain themselves. So it's like, what's interesting about this person? Or how can I provoke them or disrupt? Like obviously that's amplified with SX where it's like getting under the ladies' skin a little bit, where they feel like, oh, this kind of excitement is ooh, like whoa.
What is this? Yeah.
Because then he's like, yeah, like there's like, he might come fuck me or something. Like I don't know if that's what they were thinking, but I mean, you can kind of get that just from looking at him.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah,
he's
and he had that like the nice guy element of three wing two that's really visible in some of his pictures, especially when he was younger.
yeah. And yeah, just like for like the people who like visual typing, he does kind of look like Ryan. Why am I blanking on his name now? Ryan
Yes,
Gosling.
Gosling. Yes.
Like there's so they probably have like yeah, similar. I think he's a nine
Yeah,
wing.
he's got the little twinkle in his eye and that one on top, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the nine plus the three, it creates like this disarming effect of like, I'm a nice guy, you could take me home to meet your parents, but then there's that little exciting element of danger, maybe with like a seven fix or SOSX.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what his instincts are, but they look I feel like he could play him in a movie if they did one. I don't know if there's already been a movie about Errol Flynn. If there is, I want to watch it. I would kind of want more of this now. I'm like, what else did this freak get up to? Wonder if there is.
Ooh, autopsy. Ooh.
Oh, is it called In Like? Oh no, this looks stupid. This looks terrible. That's the wrong focus. That's the wrong focus of him. I want
Yeah.
those. Oh, oh no, Kevin Kline.
Oh,
Kevin
that,
Kline?
that's not fun at all.
Kevin Kline as Errol Flynn? What the fuck? Isn't he super
Probably
gay?
why. Yeah, he's gay, I think. Probably
How
why
is
we've
he?
never heard of it. It's just
And
not
he's
worthy.
so unappealing. Oh no, that's no Ryan Gosling. Oh my God, that's depressing. Okay, well I won't be watching that one anyway. What else have we got here? This is I think another one you sent, maybe.
Throughout his life, Errol Flynn found himself entangled in a series of infamous stories that showcased his love for excess and daring exploits. One was the so-called Mocambo Brawl in 1942. Flynn was known for his love of partying and was a regular at the Mocambo nightclub in LA. One night he found himself embroiled in a brawl with a group of soldiers from a nearby U.S. Army base. It's said Flynn held his own against several men, using his athleticism and agility to fight them off. That incident, although apparently not his fault, added to his reputation as a hard-drinking and rebellious figure. Another wild story was on the Adventures of Robin Hood set in 1938. Flynn and co-star Basil Rathbone, who played Sir Guy of Gisborne, engaged in a memorable and dangerous fencing match after consuming copious amounts of alcohol. The inebriated actors, wielding real swords, engaged in an impromptu duel. Miraculously, no one was injured.
Oh gosh.
I
Yeah,
think
I think there's that element with SOSX of like anything could happen and you want to just like keep turning up the dial, especially with seven.
mhm. Yeah, there's like an invincibility to it. Especially yeah, when you're drinking too. I think that like we were sort of talking about this, but it's like this amplification I think that happens with certain type combinations with like 7 9 SOSX like hedonism.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, just
where can
go
we
hard. Yeah, go hard, drink the whole bottle, do like the craziest shit you can think of. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were talking too, I think about like as a withdrawn type like 9 like how it can pull you out of your shell like
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think I might have already mentioned this, but the tension in the psyche of being a withdrawn type and being more reserved and self-aware, especially as like a 9-wing-1 social instinct, but feeling that like need to like break out of it. And I think alcohol or, drugs could be a powerful like gateway to access that like that novelty, fun, what could happen here? It could be a bar fight. I could get married in Vegas. Like just wanting to go for it to like bust out of that withdrawn. It's like I feel it 'cause I'm a 9-wing-1 and I've got, 7-wing-6 and 2. So it's like a interesting combination, like a battle in my psyche all the time. So maybe I'm just projecting. I don't know.
no, I think you're right. Like I mean I feel it on some level too. Like I feel like I feel like because I used to get really bad social anxiety and like I could like I just couldn't really go out without drinking at all. And it would just give me full license to be like as chaos like a chaos demon and then well I was drunk like so yeah and I obviously have 7 and 9 in my type so I think like I think certain type combos are probably worse though like I think with 4 in the mix it's like I don't know, some kind of extra dark flavor to the whole affair. But I think that it can become intoxicating, like if you are like a more withdrawn kind of person, like utilizing stimulants to just kind of keep the energy up so that you don't like crash. And then when you do crash, it's probably like the bed rot era, the bed rot period and
Mhm.
like what that yeah or whatever that person's name is in the server set is like inside every 9 is a small narcissist 3 or a small narc 3 so I think it's like that's when like the 3 comes out to play a little bit like
Yeah, yeah, I definitely feel that. Like there's this, at least for me personally, there's like this desire to just go up, 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 keep the energy, keep the fun going, and then always inevitably there's a crash. And where you kind of have to like come back to reality, especially if you are a core withdrawn type and you're trying to like bust out in your own way, which I think might have been the story of his life. Like, there's some pictures I sent you where, with the visual typing, you can see kind of like there's this sadness and melancholy quality to his eyes. And he was trying to, do the night thing of wanting to access his passion, especially as someone who's, SOSX, trying to like, but the escapism and just continually like dialing up the notch of the intensity and fun.
I'm just opening them. Are they showing up?
Yeah, I can see him. That's one where I think you can see kind of like this introverted, reflective quality to his face, to his countenance.
Yeah, and I think this is where like nines can seem sevenish too, is like certain type combinations because they are more like chaotic. Or like on paper, it's like, oh damn, that's some unhinged like seven behavior or something. But it's like him having like all these like lovers and being kind of rude and or like not even rude, but it's like, well, seven, nine could get away with stuff that like I think like an eight couldn't say or maybe a six couldn't say. I'm not really sure. Women won't let me stay single and I won't let myself stay married. Um, Life is not meant to be serious, it's meant to be lived. I like that. I think that's kind of a social sexual approach, maybe a little bit.
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
the rot of SP. No one wants to deal with it. Sorry, did you want to make comments on more of the photos or a specific photo or?
Um, I guess if you want to like cycle through some of them, we could say what we're seeing. I think that's really through to energy.
Mhm. His little carnation. I've come to take your daughter to the prom.
Right. And who even knows like if those were his real teeth, but like of course he's got like, you know, big perfect white chompers.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. He does always look like he's in a Colgate commercial. Or like whenever he's smiling. And he's like, even just that's such an open pose. Like, come and get it, ladies. Oh.
Yeah. Just oozing the charm.
I guess he dropped when he was like 50, but I think they said that his body looked like that of an 80-year-old or something. So
Yeah.
live fast, die young, baby.
Oh yeah.
Well, we could watch this one. This one's like hard to hear, so I don't know if it'd be that shit. Oh wait, we can watch this.
The people you met there whose reputations were already made, Errol Flynn, for example, was he really that kind of character?
Yeah, I did two pictures with Errol, one when he was sober and the other one when he was drunk. The first one was with Betty Davis, so he had to really mind his manners. I had a terrible time, though, because I had just finished doing this play called Elizabeth the Queen, and I was playing Essex in it, the lead, and now Errol was playing Essex in the film, and I was playing Sir Walter Raleigh. And the director, Errol didn't know his lines, so the director kept saying, Errol, you naughty boy, you don't learn your lines. This Winston Price, you go right on, play your part. Errol hated me. It was terrible. I had a very bad time with him.
And it never happened?
No, and then I did another picture with him at the end of his life, and that was better.
And he was bold and bad, was he?
Yeah, he was wonderful. He had the charm of a snake.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that also speaks to like SOSX influence in seven, kind of like a devil may care I'm the star. I'll show up drunk if I want to. And
Hmm.
just, and I also think like continual nine escapism.
Hmm.
Like he was, I mean, even as an actor in these roles, like he was getting to live out this dramatic fantasy
I
and
used
try on different personas.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think nines are the ones who really take to acting because they are just like transforming in the role. Maybe it's easier a little bit with SX too. I'm not sure. I think Johnny Depp is a I used to think he was a four, but I'm pretty sure he's a nine. I think he's like a nine with sexual in his type. And he does the same shit, just getting wasted on set and like not having people feed lines to him through like an earpiece. Like he's just showing up for the fucking paycheck in the show and then he's gonna go off and get drunk on a beach with like a bunch of like wherever he's like I went down a Johnny Depp rabbit hole ages ago because I wanted to study in him and the more I kept looking at him the more I was like I think he's actually a nine and he's just like a diabolical nine because he's got like seven and four and sexual in his type and a bitchy nine because he's got four in his type but he did yeah there's stories sort of him there's not like as many like orgy stories although I'm sure you could find something.
Yeah, I could definitely see him being a nine, especially just like kind of passively getting involved with someone like Amber Heard
Oh
and
yeah.
then just like putting up with her shit for as long as he did.
Yeah.
And maybe it was some sort of nine identity crisis. Like he's getting older
Yeah.
and she's young and vibrant and dangerous. And maybe it was like a midlife crisis thing.
Well, she was hot. She's kind
Oh
of
yeah.
sexy. But she also, I think she's a three, and I think threes are really good at like weaseling their way into your heart center, like when they want something from you. So I think she probably became this kind of like salvation for him or something, like in his probably, somewhat boring existence with his like family. And then it's like
Mhm.
this hot three who's and probably she's clearly got SX too, and they probably were just like drawn to each other like two like narcissists wanting to just create like endless drama together, and they got it. So then she tried to
I
steal
got
all his
it.
money, and then he tried to steal a pack, and like,
Yeah, we should do a video on that whole saga. That'd be
oh my God,
fun.
let's do it, let's do it. We can do it next. I don't know.
Kidney. It's a lower part of Australia, and it's nearest the South Pole. My father told me that it's the closest mass of land where, what was it, Scott first went, and Hillary just recently, and I happened to be born there. How, I don't know. However, I was born when I was very young, yeah, and as a result, it appears that my father went down there with Mother on a scientific expedition. It was called the Aurora Expedition with Shackleton. And he was a scientist, one of them. And I got born. What more do you want?
Got
What was
bored.
your father? What business had he? He was a professor of biology, a young biologist at that time, I presume. And still is, by the way. And then he went there, and the boat was called the Aurora. And I think it was Shackleton who led the expedition, and Dad was one of them. So I got born in a place called Tasmania. If you know where it is, by the way, you get a cigar. I know exactly where it is. You do? Well, not many people do. That little thing that looks like a heart or a kidney, way south of Australia. That's why many people say I have such a great heart. Yeah. How about the first 10 years of your life, Carl? First 10 years? Anonymous. You know nothing about them? Oh, well.
Anonymous.
Flashes. You know nothing about them? Oh, well. In flashes, I don't know. I tortured ducks and other animals, like all small boys, I suppose. I can't remember much about them. But where did you spend most of those years? They were spent in England, Ireland, mostly Ireland, and some in Australia, the early years in Australia, so I'm told. And I see it's burning.
So I'm told.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry, do you want to talk about that?
Oh, I mean, just the thing I was noticing is like the way he's telling his story is kind of like that nine passive way. Like, I guess I was born and that's why I'm this way. Um, but
Just the
I
never
guess,
ending thing.
Yeah, like, and then the whole torturing animals thing, I guess we could go into that.
Yeah, like this is when I got excited when I was like, ooh, maybe he's like 6'5", 5'6", and then the more you think like, or it's like, oh, that was like probably the norm back then, but it is like a lot of killers end up being nines. So and as a nine, Sierra, I'd love to hear your take on what's behind that. What's behind that urge? Is it the simmering rage? Is it the lava in the volcano that must leak out every now and then and take a life?
So that's a lot, but I do think that, the way a nine exists is that you feel a little bit disconnected, like almost like a passive observer of life. And if you are trying to connect to some sort of passion, I could see nines doing all sorts of things, honestly. Like when I was a kid, I told you my little sordid tales of, I don't want to say torturing animals because it sounds so bad, but yeah, I lived out in the middle of nowhere and we had nothing to do. So we found interesting ways to amuse ourselves, and it may or may not have involved blowing up gardener snakes with fireworks or
Oh,
um, yeah, yeah, I don't know. It might just be bored kid stuff too.
I think nines can be ice cold though sometimes. Like I really think they can just be like, it's life about some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like kind of like I feel like I'm kind of a mean person, but the animal stuff is always like I can't like or I have like this core memory from childhood of like uh these our family friends, they had harvested all of these chestnuts to like put on something, I don't know, for whatever, some stupid craft thing they were doing. And and I was like, well then the squirrels are gonna starve. So I took all their chestnuts and I put them all over the yard so that the squirrels could have them. And then it became this like huge fucking thing. Yeah, like da, da, da. And I was supposed to like go pick them all up and I was like crying the whole time and like
Oh no.
sorry, I don't know why I
Yeah.
brought that up, but I think like nines can have like more of a like, yeah, matter of fact like way of viewing stuff sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think there's also this element of like the nine energy exchange where like we can send out our little like feelers and like feel out vibes, or there's a place or a person. And if it's like bad, if it's something that is not interacting well with our energy, it's just like a quick recoil of like gross, and like there is a coldness, like that person could just be dead to you because of the like the gross visceral way their energy is impacting yours.
Mm, mm. I think
Especially with a one wing, you can get really quick to being like dismissive of like you're disgusting, you're gross, I hate you.
yeah, yeah. I wonder too if it's like stronger with like I mean not that S I mean I see it with SPs just doing automatic wall, but I think like I wonder if social doms like have more of a um especially maybe with sexual where it's like you're just kind of hooked in and you just notice stuff more like I for sure like notice like sexual energy that's being directed at me like and I can be really because yeah I
Yeah.
think 9 plus like SP last it's like you do feel like this sort of portal or something.
Oh
It's
my
like
gosh, yeah.
penis
Yeah,
portal.
yeah, absolutely. It's so I think Lazy Lich in your server said something about withdrawn types having some form of inherent nakedness. So it can like if you're a nine and you have to put yourself out there, especially as an SOSX, and if you're feeling like gross sexual attention that you don't want, things like that, it can feel very like penetrative and almost like what's the word I'm looking for?
Violating.
Violating, yeah, it can feel like viscerally violating in a way that someone who is less, maybe is more assertive and less, maybe SP first, wouldn't impact them the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have like double withdrawn in my type, but this yeah, I think I mentioned this maybe in the server too, but I like this I had to interact with this guy the other day and I he for sure had like sexual in his type and some I don't know what else. And it was just this I felt like I got slimed. Like it was so
Oh God.
disgusting and I immediately
Yeah.
created like a mass and he was sort of like he was it was like he was confused by my reaction like it was just like this immediate like I literally like like this it's like get it was just mad pedo energy like I just felt like this pedophile ray shooting out of him at me and it was so horrifying anyways. Not that I'm a child but it was like it was just like pure slime. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah. Yeah,
not,
that's
not
relatable. I won't go into my stories, but yeah.
not to be a 6'5" and accuse some random guy of being a pedophile, but it was like he did make one comment about something about young, like young. So I don't even know what the interaction was. I like immediately had to vacate it from my my memory.
The
Um,
mental bleach. And then through some very handy, like autobiographical stuff generated by ChatGPT, it said, at first glance, Flynn embodied the archetypal libertine, a man addicted to pleasure, scandal, and excess. Yet beneath the rakish surface was a reflective, often melancholic soul. 9. He wasn't simply indulging, he was chasing something ephemeral, a sense of freedom, rebellion, or even escape. His charm wasn't just magnetism, it was a form of existential defiance. And then it went on to say Flynn was highly intelligent, articulate, and intellectually curious. 7. He read voraciously and was politically opinionated, even if often irreverent. 7. Flynn had a compulsive restlessness. 7. He needed movement, new experiences, new women, new battles, whether literal or metaphorical. And then it goes on to talk about him being self-sabotaging and having a latent self-loathing. But yeah, I mean, his level of indulgence and escapism was truly legendary.
hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Escapist like stacking and escapist try and escapist core.
Yeah, but also having that like three-wing two hustle because he was like a major movie star
Hmm.
and he could pull it together enough. Like he had some level of competency that he did knock out all these films and sell his image well, even though he was like a rotting, chaotic mess behind the scenes or even on set.
Um, Rest in peace, Errol Flynn. I'm sure you left a wake of VD and behind you, but so many hearts have been touched also. Okay, so 9 wing 1, 7, or I guess, well, maybe it could be 3 wing 2 second. I mean, doesn't really matter, but
It
yeah.
could, yeah, yeah,
Social sexual 9 wing 1, 3 wing 2, 7 wing 6. So then his alter ego would be 1 7 or 1 3 7. Um, and then his shadow type would be oh, triple super ego. So interesting. I think he is that type, but that is kind of an interesting. Maybe that's where the self-loathing came from. I'm a bad boy. I'm a bad
and maybe,
boy. Immediate
yeah,
reaction.
and maybe the drunkenness was him trying to escape his conscience, you know,
Oh, could be. Yeah. I like that.
and to dive into more escapism and hedonism.
Trying to outrun trying to outrun the deeds of the past, creating more deeds to run away from.
Yeah,
Tragic tale as old as time. Thank you
yeah.
for watching. If you want to check out Sierra's Voltology typing, get yourself a special little typing. Check out the link below. Check her out on Instagram. Stay tuned for more. Oh, wait, do you want to do a Voltology typing of him? Or do you have like a
Oh, so I don't I'm assuming he was in the Alpha Quadra, like Ryan Gosling, and that's why one reason you see a lot of overlaps. They share similar features and like a similar vibe, similar characteristics. And so he was most definitely an alpha extrovert, possibly an FESI, possibly an NETI. I didn't actually do a typing of him, but that much is obvious.
Hmm.
And the FESIs or just alpha extros, they can have their own flavor of like amoral excess as well.
Oh, sounds hot.
Which we could get into more in another video if you want. If we do Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, we could do, I mean, we could do Ryan Gosling. We could literally just do Ryan Gosling right now.